What is up, everybody? Welcome to week 14 of the live start sit with the Fatboyz presented by the Fantasyholics. I'm Bo. That is Brant. Brant, here it is. For some people, this is going to be the last week of fantasy football this season. For others, it's the last week before the huge playoff push. It's an exciting time. A lot of buys, a lot of good teams on buys, a lot of injuries. How you feeling on this week 14? While you're answering that, I'm gonna flip my lights on since I'm apparently lazy and forgot this morning.
It's for me. It's going to be a rough one. I'm missing Charbonnet. I'm missing Walker in a few leagues. I'm missing Breeze in a couple leagues as well. Actually, I need to go back. I forgot about the third league I have him in. And it's going to be a rough one. Lots of bye weeks. Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon both on buys this week.
Mm-hmm.
For you guys that are fringe playoff teams, like better get in here, get your questions to these Fatboyz. We want to be here to help because it is a devastating week for the running back situation. It's a little nerve-wracking this week, but it's always fun weeks when it is a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, when you have to put a little thought into your lineup, you don't just put your best drafted players out there and go with it, because the list goes on. Scary Terry, Jaden Daniels, Brian Robinson, Jonathan Taylor. If you're starting Anthony Richardson, there's just some big teams on buys this week with a lot of relevancy. That's the fun part about the make or break weeks and fantasy football. You got to win those games that matter prior to this week. That way you're not stuck holding the bag, so to speak. So let's start getting to some of these questions, Brant. If you're ready, I'm ready.
I am ready.
All right, here we go. First one. Frank says, good morning, guys. He says, Rico, Cade, MVS, D-Hop must be a wide receiver.
All right, so we got Rico, Cade, MVS, D-Hop one must be a wideout. All right. That's the Chargers. That's a lot of pass rush coming at him. I like Cade Otton. I do like Cade Otton. He sees plenty of targets since Godwin's went down for the year. So I do like Cade, and I think I want to go. I think I want to go with D-Hop. I think I want to go with Cade and D-Hop.
We're going to start this off right off on the opposite foot here. I'm going to go Rico Dowdle. Had his best game last week. They really pushed him to look good going against the Bengals on Monday night. And then MVS, man, I don't love him still. This is more a situation versus the player. There's nobody else to catch passes in New Orleans. Juwan Johnson. I did this on the weekly show as well. Is there, and Alvin Kamara, but Taysom Hill's out. Everybody who's anybody in that offense is out. I'm going MVS, home run ability, and really, I think they have about the same floor, him and D-Hop. So I'm going Rico and MVS. So you and I are completely split there. Let's see if we can help him better on this one.
Frank, if it does help you a little bit better, Rico was my next choice. So he is high on my list, and I was torn between getting him in there as well. So if that makes it a little bit easier, is that it was my next choice. So Frank also comes back with Pickens, T, Jacoby Myers, D-Hop, Rico, Allen, Westbrook. One must be a wideout.
Okay, so Braylon Allen's is a must, right? I would say him, T. Higgins, and George Pickens all have to be must starts.
Who do the Jets have?
The Dolphins.
Yes. So yes, that's Braylon Allen is a must start. And you said T or Pickens as the other two. The other
Pickens and T. Higgins, yes.
Yeah, I like Pickens' matchup. I expect him to find the end zone. Little sneak peek for later. But yeah, I like those two.
Okay. All right. Kevin says, good morning, boys. Hawkinson or Njoku on half-point PPR? Browns at Steelers. I think I'd go Hawkinson.
I think I do too, because I do like the matchup a little bit better, but let me look at something real fast. Yeah, give me Hawkinson. Some reason I thought the Steelers were worse against one of the worst teams against tight ends. They're middle of the pack there. Dickey comes at us with Hawkinson or Jonnu, Ridley or MVS. Let's break down this first one. Oh man, I think I have to go with Jonnu. He's seeing too many targets. He's been great for Miami over the last couple of weeks, so I think I have to go with Jonnu on that first one.
Jonnu's been so good the last 4 or 5 weeks, Brant, that he's tied in 5 on the season. If his last 4 or 5 weeks keep up over the rest of the season, he will finish tied in 1. That's how good he has been and how involved he is. So Jonnu for sure on that one for me. Also, Jonnu's not going to – I think I read Sauce Gardner's out this week, so that's irrelevant. And then on the second one, I go Ridley.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go Ridley. I like this matchup this week, so I do like Ridley.
Okay. Zach says Jameis at Pittsburgh, Levis at Jacksonville, or Caleb Williams at San Fran.
Man, I like this matchup with Levis at Jacksonville. I think I go with Levis at Jacksonville. I do. I really like that matchup there.
Yeah, so Jameis coming off of almost 500 yards passing is definitely entertaining. The Steelers' offense is putting points on the board this year like they haven't in years past as well. So that game could be an absolute shootout. But I think it actually trajects to be a more NFC North matchup than what I think it will be. So I'm actually going to go with Caleb Williams. He's been getting the ball where it needs to be. I don't think a lot of these losses have been his fault this year. And the San Fran defense isn't as good as they used to be either. They're letting up some points this year as well. So I like Caleb Williams in that one.
Okay. All right. Kevin comes at us with pick one for flex. Mike Evans, George Pickens, or Isaac Guerrero.
I'm going Mike Evans.
I think that's where I'm at too. I'm just double checking. I was a little slow moving this morning, so I didn't write all my stuff down like normal Tampa Bay has. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Mike Evans.
Okay. All right. Zach comes at us asking Elijah Moore at Cleveland or at Pittsburgh with Cleveland or BTJ against Tennessee in full point PPR, Brant.
I think I go with BTJ.
That's where I'm leaning to. I think he's been okay with Mac Jones under center. Mac Jones has put on his best game last week in 2 quarters of football, but I think Thomas was okay the previous 2 weeks as well. You know what? There's no Tillman this week again, though. Nah, give me BTJ. I'm not going to overthink it. Give me BTJ.
All right. Okay. Jennifer asks, pick 3, DJ Moore, JSN, Lamb, Cook, Kupp, or Myers. James Cook, I think, is 1. I think I go with Myers because I think they're going to have to. God, those are so many good names.
So I'll say this. I agree on James Cook. James Cook I'm in on as well.
I think I'm going to go with Cook, JSN, and I think I'm going to go Kupp.
You're leaving CeeDee Lamb out?
Mm-hmm.
CeeDee Lamb's the number one option here for me. CeeDee Lamb, James Cook. I love JSN right now, but I think Kupp gets the nod over JSN for me. It's close between those two. CeeDee Lamb and his 20 targets don't come out of my lineup. James Cook finds the end zone this week. I think he's going to have a really nice week. And then I'll take Kupp with the Rams trying to keep up with the Bills.
Okay.
Well, you and I are not in sync. You need to go back and get out of bed on the other side this morning. Dennis says, should I flex McConkey, Debo, Braylon Allen, or Hawkinson? Obviously, McConkey's injury is worrisome. I agree with this sentiment. That shoulder does bother me a little bit too, with him being such a little fella. I think this one really comes down to Braylon Allen and McConkey for me. I think I probably stay McConkey. It's close. I don't think there's any chance McConkey doesn't play, right? Like he's uncertain.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize there was a knee sprain too.
I
think you got to go Braylon Allen then.
I do too.
None of these other options let you flex off of McConkey. I think you go Braylon Allen.
Yep, I do too. I like Braylon Allen.
Which is extremely unfortunate because I think McConkey may be one of the better plays of the week if he gets to play. So,
okay. Questionable Bucky Irving or Pacheco? Charlie asked. Pacheco saw, what was his workload?
Bucky is expected to play, just for the record.
Yeah, Bucky is, but I think depending on how bad it is or how much it's lingering, how will he? He played 37% of snaps with 7 carries, but they ran the ball a season low against the Raiders.
I feel like he had a few receptions too, didn't he not?
1 reception.
Okay. I mean, he tied for the lead in carries on the team.
Yeah, they didn't rush the ball very much, which is really crazy since they played Vegas. Man, let's see, Pacheco, Bucky.
I'm going Bucky against the Raiders defense.
Finished as RB1 last week. Yeah, I think I'll give me Bucky Irving.
Here's Zach is agreeing with us, saying Dickey's got to play Jonnu until he cools off. Zach says Mahomes or Herbert. Ooh, playing against each other this week.
I think I go Herbert.
I would agree with you if McConkey was healthy. With McConkey being questionable, maybe not playing, that run game being completely gone now, I'm going to go with Herbert or Mahomes. Excuse me. I'm going Mahomes. Mahomes has got healthy pass catchers. The Chiefs defense is, I think, still slightly better than the Chargers defense. So I'm going all in on Mahomes. He's been too good here as of late.
Okay. I don't hate it. I don't hate those choices. Chubb or Westbrook Akeem, Mark asked. I think I go Westbrook.
You've got a gut feeling about Will Levis this week, so I'll rock with you, but on Westbrook. But I don't love this here, so I'll roll with you, Brant.
Okay.
Ryan says, "Good morning, guys. 2-part question. The first part, PPR need 2: Juwan Jennings, D Hop, Garrett Wilson. So we'll start there. Any one of those stand out as the guy you shouldn't play this week?"
I like Jennings and Wilson this week, so I think I'm leaving D-Hop off.
Purdy coming off of a 90-yard week. I know it was in the snow last week, so but the previous weeks he was not healthy, so I'm a little nervous about the San Fran offense. So I think I go D-Hop and Garrett Wilson. But D-Hop, I don't love D-Hop either this week. So, I mean, Garrett Wilson's the number one must play out of those 3 for me. You could coin flip the other 2, and I probably wouldn't argue too awful much. But, man, I don't like or trust that San Fran offense right now. So, I'll say my gut tells me to go D-Hop. And then the second part needs 2: Isaac Guerrero, Zach Charbonnet, Rashad White.
I'm taking Charbonnet. I think I'm taking Garindo against the Bears.
Yeah, I think I'll go Charbonnet as well. No Walker. And then I told Brant before show I really don't know how to feel about Isaac Garindo. But again, he is playing the Bears, and Rashad White's been awful this year. So I think I will go with Garindo. Charbonnet's the must play for me. I think Garindo. I can't advocate for Rashad White right now.
That's how I feel with it. Jeff asks, which three should I roll with week 14 PPR? DK at Arizona, Garrett at Miami, JSN at Arizona, BTJ at Tennessee, or Cooper at the Rams? 3, I'm going Garrett Wilson, JSN, I think I'm going. I think I'm going to go BTJ.
So JSN for me, BTJ for me. I don't know if I can advocate to double up on Seahawks. I don't like Garrett Wilson necessarily against Jalen Ramsey this week, but I don't know, does Jalen Ramsey take away Davante Adams, or does he play against Garrett Wilson? I'll go Garrett Wilson, JSN, and BTJ. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
Jeff says Darnell Mooney or Davante Adams, and then follows it up with a quarterback question. So we'll start with the wide receivers. Which do you prefer there?
I got to go with Adams here.
Yeah, the Vikings defense has been pretty good. I'll probably go with Adams in this one as well. And then as far as the quarterback one, Stafford or Kyler?
I'm going to go with Kyler.
If I thought there was a chance Marvin Harrison was going to get involved in this game and it wasn't just going to be all Trey McBride, I'd probably say Kyler. But I'm going to go Stafford with Puka and Coop and Cooper Kupp, and just roll with that. And I think the highest scoring game from Vegas is mine this week, tied for Monday night as well, or with Monday night as well. So I'll go with Stafford here.
Okay, I don't hate it. Adam asked, pick one, Debo, Worthy, or Odunze. I think I go Debo here because I think Debo gets involved in this run game against the Bears who are soft against the run. I think I'm going to go with Debo here.
Yeah, I think if anybody were to advocate to you to start Xavier Worthy at any point in the season, I feel like you should never listen to that person again, because Xavier Worthy's not been good really outside of week 1 this year. I do know that they tried to get him a little bit more involved last week, but I didn't love what I saw. Rome's had some games in the spotlight this year, but I think he's firmly back to being the third option in that offense behind DJ and Keenan Allen. And again, I said I don't love the 49ers this week, but if I had to pick one 49er outside of George Kittle that I wanted to put in my lineup, it'd be Debo. And I know he's been bad this year. I just think there's gimmicky plays drawn up to get him in a CMC-esque role this week. So I'll go Debo with you on this one, Brant. Joe says PPR, Chuba Hubbard, Juwan Jennings, Malik Neighbors, George Pickens, TJ Hawkinson needs 2. And then I guess the defense is between the 2 on that one. So we'll go to the defense there in a second. So which of these 2 are you playing?
Pickens.
Mm-hmm.
I think I go with Neighbors. I think I go Pickens and Neighbors.
Pickens for me as well. Neighbors is dealing with a hip flexor and a groin injury, and he's a game time
Oh, that's
decision.
right. I didn't forget that.
So, I mean, it's a very good matchup for Neighbors. If he was healthy, it'd be a no doubt about it for me. So Pickens is the one. Chuba would be another one if his matchup wasn't so tough. I think I just don't love him against the Eagles. Excuse me. If Neighbors plays, you're playing Neighbors. If Neighbors doesn't, I go Chuba. Pickens is the one that I'm keeping regardless. So yeah, Neighbors if he plays.
And between those two defenses,
Shoot!
The way them two matched up last time, it was double-digit points for both defenses. I think I go with the Seahawks. I think they have the more ability of a takeaway.
I think Geno's probably slightly more prone to throw one than Kyler. I did happen to watch that contest last time, and Kyler's interception was just a complete misread and an overthrow at that. I don't love either of the defense. I think the Seahawks will put more pressure on Kyler, but I think Kyler out of the pocket's a good thing for the Cardinals. So it's a coin flip for me. I'm okay with either one of them, but I think there will be more sacks on the Seattle end. I think there'll be more turnovers from the Cardinals. Or defensively, I think the Cardinals get more turnovers. Seahawks have the better opportunity for sacks. So it's a coin flip for me. I'm okay with either one.
Okay. Kevin asks, pick 3, full point PPR. Lamb, DK, Cup, or Jennings? DK was so bad against Arizona. I think he had like 12 points. I think I go with Lamb, DK, and Cup, though.
Yeah, my distrust for the San Fran offense is not going to allow me to pick any of these guys this week. So I'll go CD, DK, and Cup. And again, I've watched more Seahawks games this year than I have in years past. It seems like it's the JSN show right now. So, as DK owners, this wouldn't be a question if he was getting the targets and volume that he saw last year. But, it's just he's being held back a little bit right now. But I still take him over Juwan. Jennifer says Adam Thielen, Alexander Madison, Xavier Legette, Davis, and Calcaterra pick 2.
I think I go Legette and Thielen. Thielen's been so good since he's been back. He had that rough, shake the rust off, but then he came back with a great week. I think I go with Thielen and Legette.
I'd like to know which Davis this is for sure, because my brain goes to a couple of different places. If it's Ray Davis, it's slightly more appealing to me.
I thought it was Ray Davis. Oh crap! I just completely spaced. I just told you to start 2, Carolina.
But I think that may be the play here, Brant. I do. I think that may be the play. Yeah, I go Thielen and Legette.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to play catch up anyways. Patrick from the Fantasyholics comes at us with Sam Darnold versus Atlanta or Jameis Winston versus Pittsburgh.
I do see it there next.
Yeah. I'm going with Winston. Winston. What'd you say? 500 yards and some touchdowns against one of the toughest defenses last week. I think I go with Winston.
497 last week for him.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, he's just too good. He's quarterback 9 on the season, Brant. Last week he had one of his worst games of the season, if you can really say that, at quarterback 14, finished 31 or 19 fantasy points, 2 touchdowns, 235 yards passing. week prior, 330 yards passing. Falcons give up pass yards, man. They just do. I'll go Sam Darnold, Jordan Addison. If you watch the Falcons Chargers game last week, Lad McConkey feasted over the middle of the field. That's Jordan Addison's routes, man. I think Jordan Addison has a huge week. I think Sam Darnold has a huge week. And one of these guys is playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. The other one's playing the Atlanta Falcons. So I'll let that be my decision maker. I'll go Sam Darnold to beat up on my Falcons this week.
Okay.
Tony says Debo or Waddle in half-point PPR.
Ugh, gross. Never thought those two names are just the way this year's been with them.
Yeah. I mean, Sauce Gardner's doubtful, so I go Waddle.
I think I go Debo. I think they scheme up some things for Debo, and I think I go Debo.
I'm starting Debo in our home league. If I was playing somebody that meant something, I might be nervous about it. But I don't like Debo at all this week.
Okay. Jennifer says Murray or Levis, since I have that Levis feeling. I think I still go Murray. I think he gets out of the pocket and he runs on Seattle's defense. So I think I still have to go Murray. I like Levis's matchup this week in a game that could end up in a shootout, but I think Murray's rushing upside is what keeps him just a little bit ahead.
I do want to go back just for a split second to Jennifer's question here. She did say which Davis this was. It's Isaiah Davis. So I still don't think that probably changes my mind much. Because I still think it's going to be the Braylon Allen show. Davis did have a really nice week last week with a touchdown, 3 receptions.
I think I'm starting both the Panthers pass catchers still.
I think I still stay with that as well, Jennifer. Yeah, I think Davis could be a nice play this week, but I think Braylon Allen's going to have a really nice week. So Jennifer does have a slew of questions here, so we'll get through these quickly. She says Rush or Mac Jones. I think I go Cooper Rush on this one, Brant.
Yeah, I think I do too. I think I go with Cooper Rush as well. Keenan Allen or Higgins? I think I go T. Higgins.
Yeah, against the beat up Dallas secondary. I think you're probably right there. I go Higgins as well. Pick 2, Gus Bus, Jalen Waddle, Adam Thielen, Darnell Mooney.
I think I go Thielen and Gus.
Gus Bus is gross. I go Thielen.
Yeah, any place. Never mind.
I go Thielen and Mooney.
I think I'm going with you. I didn't realize they played Kansas City, so I literally looked down and go, never mind. Yeah, give me Waddle, give me Thielen and Mooney.
Okay. Geno Smith, Derek Carr, or Aaron Rodgers?
I think I go Geno.
I will on this one as well.
Yep. Jennifer says, last one, she thinks. No problem. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Rico or White? I'm going Rico here.
Rico. Yep. Matt says Chubb, Jennings, Cade Otton, or Braylon Allen. Pick one in half-point PPR.
Man, I really love Otton this week, but I think I still have to lean Braylon Allen.
I mean, I think so, Brant. I think Braylon Allen is – that looked like a wicked sneeze there, Brant. I do think it's Braylon Allen. Listen, I'm expecting him to have a huge game this week against those Dolphins. I think he catches plenty of passes. I think he 15 rushes this week. I'm all in on Braylon Allen this week, Brant. We finally get a chance to see him in a bell cow role. I'm excited for it.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, well, hey, no time like the present. We got a few moments of downtime. Typically, we don't have this luxury at the halfway point of our show. Where do you want to go? You want to go underdog? You want to go touchdowns?
Let's go with touchdowns right off the bat.
Okay.
I got Chase Brown to find the end zone against that was Dallas, correct? Yeah. I got Justin Jefferson to find the end zone. I expect this to be a fun game between you guys and Minnesota. I got Saquon Barkley to find the end zone against one of the worst rush defenses in the NFL. And I've got George Pickens. I just like the matchup this week. I like Pickens to find the end zone.
Okay. All right, you're going to laugh at mine. I'm going to start off with the one we have in common, Saquon Barkley against the Carolina Panthers. Saquon Barkley against just about anybody at this point, I think, finds the end zone. So I'll stick with it there. James Cook, I think, finds the end zone this week, coming off of a very nice contest in the snow game against San Fran. A little easier matchup, I think, to run against the Rams than the Niners, at least in years past. Maybe not so much this year. The Niners have been pretty susceptible. Braylon Allen, I'm expecting a huge contest out of him this week. Spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about him again here in a second with the underdog. And then I've said over and over again how much I dislike this team this week. But I do think the same thing you think. I think Deebo Samuel gets schemed for. They figure out a way to get him involved. I've got him falling in the end zone this week, Brant.
Okay. All right.
Like I said, I don't love it, but it is what it is. So maybe it happens.
Absolutely. I don't hate it. I like it.
Let's go ahead and roll into these underdogs then.
All righty.
Like I said, Brant, it's kind of a nice luxury for us to be able to do this early in the show. Usually we're steamrolling through questions. Everybody's out getting their Christmas shopping done this week since their teams are on bye weeks. We must have a lot of Commanders, Colts, Lions, Packers fans that typically tune in this week. So, all right, walk us through your underdog plays.
So I got Isaac Guerrero to go higher than 73.5 yards. That's where it's at now. I got it a little bit lower last night. Playing the Bears. The Bears give up 5 yards a carry. I do like this guy with the 4.22 speed. I expect him to break off a couple good ones. I like him this week against the Bears. I'm going to save that one for last. I'm going to go with MVS higher than 19.5 yards for his longest reception today. He gets the bomb plays. Shouldn't be too hard to have a 20-plus reception play in that game against the Giants. And then I got I'm going to put these two together. I got Mr. Calvin Ridley to go higher than 66.5 rush receiving yards. I expect him to be the primary focal point of that pass catchers. I expect Will Levis to have a really good game, which then would lead me into Will Levis higher than 218 passing yards against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I absolutely do love that matchup. And then this one here is the last one. I've got Kirk Cousins in a revenge game inside the dome, higher than 245.5 passing yards.
Well, that one segues perfectly into my first one, Brant. I've got Drake London higher than 9 targets this week. He's been Kirk's go-to. Anytime he lines up in the slot, he's a matchup nightmare. I think they exploit that this week. 9 targets is a very high number, but I think you're looking at somewhere between 12 to 15 targets for Drake London this week. So I think he has a really good game. This number was so high when I looked at it, Brant, but I just stared and said, he's going to hit it. So I've got Saquon Barkley higher than 130.5 total yards against the Carolina Panthers this week. That's two rushes for him, and he's done that in games past. So I like that one quite a bit. I do want to say, too, I almost went with Isaac Guerrero. I told you I don't love him this week, but if that number would have been under 65, I probably would have smashed it. I just couldn't trust him at 73.5. I do have Braylon Allen higher than 54.5 rush yards. Like I said, I think he's used and abused this week. I'm looking for him to have 15-plus touches out of the backfield, so I think he gets that done. I talked about the Seahawks applying pressure to the Arizona Cardinals this week. I think it'll force Kyler Murray out of the pocket, and I think Kyler Murray will take off and run a little bit. I've got Kyler Murray higher than 23.5 rushing yards. I think he gets it done with his legs in this one. And then my favorite one of the week, Brant, in divisional matchup. This guy's finally starting to play like himself a little bit again. I've got Patrick Mahomes to go higher than 1.5 touchdowns. I think he lights the scoreboard up. We haven't seen Travis Kelce in the end zone for a few weeks. I think this is a contest where you see Patrick Mahomes have 3, potentially 4 touchdowns this week.
Okay. All right.
All right, we got some people starting to wake up a little bit here, Brant. So actually, it's just the same people we've had the whole time with us. We appreciate you both. Matt says Juwan Jennings or Devontae Adams.
I'd go with Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I do think he's probably the one who gets the most of Jalen Ramsey this week. But I can't advocate for San Fran. I just can't do it, Brant. Can't do it.
Okay. Jennifer says in a guillotine league, Higgins, Pickens, Myers, Jones, Jonnu, pick 2. I go with Pickens. I absolutely love him this week, and I think I go with Higgins here. God, it's so hard to drop or not start Jonnu, but I think I go with Higgins and Pickens.
I'm saying the one that I feel like I can't leave out here is Aaron Jones against the Atlanta Falcons. He's a pass-catching running back. He's quick. I like Aaron Jones. He's my one, and I'll go T. Higgins on the other one. I think I kind of said in the beginning of the show, I think there's a chance that this Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers ends up being more of a traditional NFC South matchup than what we expect it to be. So I think I'm going to go with Higgins. It's going to be the one time I may fade Pickens here. So I'll go T and I'll go Aaron Jones.
Okay. All right.
All right, Brant. So again, while we wait for these questions to come in here, what's on the menu in the Walker household today?
It's actually in the background right now. We're getting the chili and the cornbread today. It's a special happy day for this fat boy. I love my chili. Got a couple pounds of deer meat in there, some sausage. Make it nice and meaty over some cornbread. It's a beautiful day tonight for me, or tonight. It's a beautiful day and night for me with some chili in the crock pot.
I feel bad for those of us that have to be around you tomorrow, but sure. Actually, I'm quite the opposite this week. Nobody loves me. My wife's going Christmas shopping all day, leaving me home with 3 kids. It's pizza for lunch. I don't know what we got going on for dinner. Hopefully, she decides that she does love me and picks food up and brings it back. And I think that's what's going to happen. But it'll be a long day in the household this week. So I'm going to convince my kids to play a game of hide and seek. I'll be the one finding them. At halftime, I'll get up and look. But yeah, so it's desperation Sunday for me, and more so in the food department than the bye weeks. Jennifer says she has Kittle in her tight end spot. Would you play Jonnu instead? It's close.
I'm playing Jonnu.
It's close. I think this one would. Where are the Jets against the tight end, Brant? I feel like their linebackers are pretty decent.
Jets gets tight end as number 5. They only average about. Yeah.
Where's the Chargers at in that one?
Number 3. Best against third best and then 5th best.
I don't know why I asked you where the Chargers were. Kittle plays the Bears. So how about the Bears?
Bears are right there in the middle. They're tied for like 19th, between 15th and 20th because they're all tied right there.
Give me Kittle.
Okay.
Give me Kittle. I like I said, I thought the Jets linebacking core was pretty decent. So, yeah, I'll take Kittle on that one.
All right.
Fantasy. Go ahead. Sorry.
He says hot dogs and Coors Lights on the menu. There you go. That's not a bad day. And that kind of leads me into where, me as a Seahawks fan, it's a beautiful, beautiful afternoon of football for me. I get to watch the division battle between the Seahawks and the Cardinals at the 3:00 slate. And then we get greeted with this great Sunday night football game with the Chiefs and Chiefs and Chargers. That should be a very good one. So that afternoon slate is definitely something I'm looking forward to. Bo knows I do a little bit of coaching at 12 o'clock. So I missed the kickoff of the first set of games. But then as soon as I get home, it's just going to be glued in, locked in. And for the rest of the night, it's a beautiful slate this afternoon. And some hot dogs and Coors Lights. Always easy. Just have them throw the hot dogs from the kitchen.
As long as you're not trying to do like the 9 innings, 9 beers, 9 hot dogs thing in baseball and in football, like every time the ref throws a flag, you got to have one or the other. That should be a really enjoyable day. But if it was, it would be a rough spot. So this question is one I really like here. He says, where do you want to see Ashton Genty, land in 2025? I think the obvious answer is Dallas, is it not? I mean, the obvious, like, walk in right off the gate, you're a bona fide stud. I will say Genty's having a really, really good year. I'm not sure he's my favorite running back coming out as far as what I think is going to be a pro career. He's a little undersized, and it makes me a little nervous. I do think I like a couple running backs in this class, maybe depending on landing spot a little bit better. But I think Dallas is the spot for me. Dallas or Cleveland. I'd really like a young, healthy running back in Cleveland as well.
Yeah, I think it's Dallas or Cleveland, or Tennessee would be a good spot for him, with just Tony there and no real running back and what they're trying to build there. But yeah, I think Dallas is the best spot for him in my mind, or the nicest spot for him.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin says playoff is 2-week matchups. Must be ESPN because I got to deal with that this year too in one of my leagues. How do you feel about Jefferson versus the Bears?
Next week.
Next week. What did he do the first time?
I feel just fine about Justin Jefferson every week.
I do too. Normally, I'm just curious what he did do last week or last time they played. Played the Bears 2 for 5 for 5 points. I think you'll be fine. I think it will be fine. I think the Bears are still trying to put he had 2 catches with overtime. Kevin came back and said, I still think he'll be all right.
Mm-hmm. In the playoffs, Kevin, could you justify sitting him? I personally could not. If I had Justin Jefferson, he'd have to be in my lineup. I'd rather lose with my best lineup set than try to get cute, take Justin Jefferson out and lose without him in my lineup. I couldn't sleep with myself or live with myself if I made that decision.
Okay.
Scott says Murray or Purdy. It's Murray for me. I don't trust Purdy.
Yeah, I think it's Murray for me as well.
Here's Dan with our weekly IDP question.
Was it Spillane and Alanaku and Buddha? You knew I was going to mess it all up.
You've been awake for at least 45 minutes to this point. Robert Spillane, Foye Oluokun, and Buddha Baker, Brant. Which one of these? He says Fantasy Pros says Spillane. Spillane's typically my guy too, because I think he's the safer option out of the 3. I do like Foye Oluokun a lot against the Tennessee Titans, though.
I think I go. Man, I really wish I knew how point scores were really in the IDP league. I think I'm going to go with the Oluokun because he plays
the Titans.
No, I'm sorry. He plays the Titans. So yeah, I think that's where I'm going to go with that.
I like Oluokun too. I think he's got a really high ceiling this week. Spillane's probably the safer play, Dan, but I do think Foye has a chance for a couple of sacks potentially. I like him as a rusher more than I do Spillane. So Oluokun could have a really nice week this week. Jennifer says, do you think they give Pacheco more work?
Yeah, I do. I think that was last week was his first week back. He saw 7 carries, like 36% of snaps. Not sure why they didn't run the ball last week. They only ran it 14 times, which is not the Kansas City way whenever Pacheco's in the back. So I do think he gets a lot more work this week.
Yeah. I think he gets a little bit more. Like I said, I don't expect them to use him and abuse him because I think they'll want him for the playoffs. They've already clinched. They're probably not too far off from clinching a first round bye, maybe a week or two away from that. So, I really don't think they use him and abuse him too much. Divisional matchup, I think that's the only reason I say he gets a little bit more run than he has in the past. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Kevin says, no, just making me nervous as hell. But have Pickens and Evans, Evans, and AJ Brown. So I'm stacked at wideouts.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
You know what? This will be Kevin. This will be a good question next week to come ask Brant. I unfortunately will not be here at the 10 o'clock window next week. I will be sitting in the stands of a gym with a sore butt watching cheerleading competition next week, supporting my oldest. Getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning for that on a day off really sounds great. But nonetheless, I think that's a question you come ask Brant next week because I could see this being an issue. I'm going to say I don't think I could play Pickens over Jefferson, but maybe that's something to come talk to Brant about next week. Don says, hello, can you guys please help me with my single entry lineup? We absolutely can. He says for DraftKings, if you don't mind, he says he's new to the DFS and the NFL. So Brant and I typically, when we do one of these, we like to go with the stacks and then the cheaper players. So Brant, I'm going to give you a second to digest this. So the cheaper players this week, Zach Charbonnet, who's getting the full tilt, Braylon Allen, who's getting the full tilt. These are guys that are typically backups. So I like both of those plays quite a bit. What's your favorite quarterback wide receiver stack on the Sunday slate today, Brant?
On this Sunday slate, I think it's Cousins and Drake. I know it might be a little expensive, but I like that. I like it inside the dome. If you want to go with the cheaper one, give me Will Levis and Calvin Ridley.
That was 100% where I was going. Kirk Cousins and Drake London. I think Kirk Cousins is probably cheap. London will not be, but I think that stack is one that could be very juicy. So again, Don, if you look for stack Kirk Cousins, Drake London, then look for these, Braylon Allens, Charbonnets, those guys will be a little cheaper. Then you can go throw some big money at some of these heavier end, wide receivers. I think Trey McBride's got to be in there at tight end. I think he finishes the tight end one. Maybe I could see Brock Bowers as well, but I think Brock Bowers is probably still a little bit more expensive. So we'll see. He does follow this up, so we'll get down there and talk more about this in just a second. Let's get through some of these others.
Chubb or Allen? I go with Allen here.
Yep, Allen as well. Tony says, in my league, I can't make changes after 1 o'clock games. Worried about McConkey since he's Sunday night. So do I go with him or Tracy or Cooks?
I'm going to assume that's Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, it's got to be. I go Tracy, I think.
I do too. I think I do. Since you can't make any changes, I think I have to go with Tracy here.
Okay.
Dan says McCormick or Abdullah. I think I go with McCormick here since they did just rule Madison out.
I like Abdullah better than I do McCormick. We've only seen one game from McCormick, and granted, he did look pretty good, but it was enough that the Raiders were like, hey, back to the practice squad with you, and then brought him back, of course. But I think I go Amir Abdullah.
Okay. All right, then he comes back with Purdy or Aiden O'Connell. He doesn't like Purdy with playing lately, and AOC has looked good. I think I go with Aiden O'Connell as well.
I do too. I like the way Jacoby Myers is involved. I like Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers and AOC connection is as good, in my opinion, for fantasy as the Kyler Murray, Trey McBride. So yeah, I'm good with AOC on that one as well. Tony says Seahawks or Chargers defense. Oh my.
I think I'd go with the Seahawks.
Chargers is better on paper, but the matchup is worse. I'll go Seahawks too. I don't love this. I think the Chargers defense is the better defense, but I'll go Seahawks. So Don says he's got some options here. He's got Aiden O'Connell, Bucky Irving, Charbonnet, London, Myers, Jonnu Smith, Seahawks defense, McBride, Bowers, Saints D. I don't have a problem with any of these. Do you, Brant? Is there any of these that you're like, that one wouldn't be in my lineup?
There's a lot of Raiders in it. That's about it.
But that's where he's going with his stack. And I don't think this is saying Bowers and McBride, because he's also got two defenses in there. So I think there's some options. But I think I would go with, if it's me, I go O'Connell and one or the other. Probably Jacoby Myers. That way I can keep Trey McBride in, because I think that's pretty similar. And then I think I go Saints defense on that one.
Yeah, I go with the Saints defense. Yeah, I'll get McBride in, Myers. I like that. I do like that. I'm kind of looking. I'm kind of putting it into the app right now too, just some of these players to see where the flexibility might be while we got a little bit of time. So we want to come back.
Would you rather start Kirk Cousins than Aiden O'Connell and then still get McBride in as well? Or not McBride, Bowers in over McBride?
Well, I'm thinking, what if you put McBride in a flex spot?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Patrick says start Jameis or Herbert, who may not have Ladd. Herbert is the later game. Could also pick up Cooper Rush and wait. Brant likes Herbert this week. I like Herbert a lot less without McConkey. So if you want to play Herbert, I think you go pick up Rush. That way you have that opportunity to wait and see about McConkey, because I like Herbert a lot less without Ladd this week.
Yeah, I think I grab Rush and wait.
Okay. All right.
Michael says Pacheco, Keenan Allen, or BTJ in the flex. I'm leaning BTJ here.
Yeah, it comes down to Keenan Allen and Brian Thomas Jr., but I do think I'm more scared of the Chiefs defense, or the Niners defense, than I am the Titans. So give me BTJ as well. David says he's in a real tough spot. Been debating all morning. I have to start two of these guys at flex, and a must win. Ladd McConkey, Travis Kelce, James Conner, Calvin Ridley, Najee Harris.
Oh, we have been torched by the run so much this year, but then the last 2 weeks we've looked halfway decent. So,
and you shut down James Conner the last time he played.
We did. I think I go with Kelce, and I think I go with Ridley.
Yeah, I think my gut tells me I want you to go James Conner and Kelce. That way we hopefully have some better idea about Ladd McConkey by the 3:00 windows, and you would pivot McConkey in over Conner. Because I want to say Ladd McConkey and Kelce if everybody was healthy. I'm going to say Kelce and Conner, and if we get good news about McConkey, play him over Conner, but I like Conner slightly better than Ridley and Najee this week.
Wayne says, Chuba, ETN, or Jalen Warren? Need one. Thanks in advance. I think I go.
I don't want to pick.
I think I go ETN. I don't like it.
I think that's where I'm leaning too. Here's my rationale. I just want to put this out. I think Chuba's the better play if he was playing against anybody other than the Eagles defense. That run defense is tough. Chuba's a very good runner between the tackles. I think you could see a decent amount of Jonathan Brooks using his speed on the outside to get away from, Carter and Davis and some of those other, hogs that the Eagles have in the front line there. So I think I do go ETN. Yeah, I think I do. Gross. Tony says, is CFP worth a keeper spot next year?
It depends on, if you don't have to give up a draft pick, absolutely. I know he's beat up with injury. I'd like to see the rest of your lineup here, but I think you definitely could make a case for him.
Yeah, my issue with this is I think that San Francisco team starts the downhill slide. You got your quarterback that's got to get paid. You just paid Brandon Ayuk. I think they're going to start sliding. You got your tackle and Williams, who's due a contract extension. There's a lot of big names coming up this offseason. They're not going to be able to keep the entire band back together. I worry about San Francisco for the next couple of years just because they have so many expensive pieces coming up that have to get paid. So I'm nervous about it. And then the injuries scare me anyway. So I'd have to say there's something better, but I don't know.
Pick 2, Ridley, Adams, or Devonta Smith. I think I go with Ridley, and I think I go with Smith.
I'll go Ridley and Smith on this one as well.
Okay.
Chris says, good morning, guys. Need advice for the flex. Charbonnet, Malik Neighbors, or DJ Moore. Or that may be David Moore from Carolina.
I'm going with Charbonnet.
Yeah, if Neighbors was healthy, I think it's Neighbors. But Chris, you're good. I know what you meant. Autocorrect, he says. I do think if Neighbors was completely healthy, it would be him. But I think with him being banged up, game time decision, I think that makes me lean Charbonnet.
Jeff says, start Purdy or Mayfield? I can go Mayfield. And then he comes back with Tucker and McConkey. Oh.
Jeff, unless you've got some pivot play, if McConkey's out, I think you have to go Tucker. I don't really like Tucker that much, to be honest with you. But McConkey scares me. That shoulder, he was so ginger on it last week against the Falcons, and then the knee issue too. So I think you go Tucker. I could see dropping Tucker to try to pick up somebody else from either the Cowboys, Bengals, or Chargers or Chiefs, just to pivot if McConkey doesn't play. Because I really don't like Tucker that much anyway, but because I want McConkey in my lineup if he's available.
Absolutely.
All right, got a couple more to get through quickly here. Dan says Tracy or Connor.
I go Tracy.
It's close. Singletary got a lot of run last week. I'm going to go Connor here. I think Tracy could be a big home run play, but I'm going to go Connor just because Singletary did get a decent amount of touch last week.
All right, game day. Dylan says game day. Sorry for the long post. Let's break it down one by one. Aiden O'Connell or Cooper Rush? I think I go with Rush.
I go Cooper Rush just because it's Monday. It gives you that chance, late last chance.
All right, for our tight end spot, we got Juwan Jennings, Pat Freiermuth, or Dawson Knox. I think I go Juwan Johnson. Yeah, I think I go Juwan Johnson. One wide receiver and one flex. Westbrook Akeen, Devontae Smith, or Braylon Allen. I think it's Smith and Allen for me.
Yep, Smith and Allen.
And then the kicker is Bass or Dicker. I'm going with Dicker, the kicker.
I'm going Bass because it's indoors. It's in a dome. Weather won't play a part of that. I think I did see that there's supposed to be some wind gusts in Kansas City this evening. So I will go with Bass in the warm weather of the 72-degree stadium, right? All right, guys, that pretty much covers it for us today. If you have any questions come through, don't hesitate to go to the Fantasyholics Facebook page, post it up there, and get yourself some answers. I hope everybody makes playoffs. Those of you that are pushing still this last week in tight contests, and I hope everybody has a good Sunday football here.
Absolutely, absolutely. We got one that just rolled in real fast. You and me both must have clicked at the same time. Pick 2 out of 3, Cousins, Tua, and Levis. I'm going Cousins and Levis.
I'm going Cousins and Tua.
Okay. Absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us. It's always fun. We'll see you back next weekend or I'll see you back next weekend for the first week of playoffs. As always, stay hungry.
Stay fat, my friends.